So to give an impression, this is the place, it's the resting shack in the local language. And this is the highlands of the place where I live. I'm just going to give you a slight overview. And I live by a fjord, which means that everything other than a fjord is a highland. It's just steeping hills, and then it's just yeah, endless amounts of endless amounts of rolling hills and marshes, basically, and that never ends. Of course there are like lakes and stuff, but there's no change. The resting shack, there's no change. So I'm used to something else. I'm from the deep forest where I grew up. So as you can see, this is a shack, and here's a fire stove, and it's quite small. I think it does not take the biggest logs, and you have like some, I don't know, rain clothing. As you can see, there are insulation on the walls, and someone has torn down the insulation somewhere, so it's like not perfect. I'm not happy about that. And if you had to fry something on the fire stove, I don't know if you see it, there's a pan here. Damn it, you can't see it. And there's even an axe. Can you see it? Damn it, it's so dark. Okay, trust my words. There's a pan and an axe. So I'm just going to set myself up here, and I'll talk to you later about the important things I will talk about. So this is the shack, which is a public property, by the way. They have dragged it up here by a tractor. So yeah, so this is my backpack, and this is my bottle, and yeah, stuff. So light elf out so far. Yeah, just to prove my point, here's the thing that the tractor pulled this place by. You can see it. So yeah, just register that. Alright, so here is the food I brought. I don't have a plate, so it's just here on this plastic lid. It was too difficult to bring a plate, and I brought some lights because, or those lights were here. And perhaps you can see the frying pan now. The door is open, so there's more light. And a beer, of course. So what you see here is the Norwegian ribbe, which is the sides of pig, which we usually eat for Christmas. And I bought this and froze it down, so I have it now, basically. It's really, really good. I really, really enjoy that type of meat. I just want to say some things about this place. Let's say you needed to wage a guerrilla war. Nobody but the locals know about this place. There are no beds, but you can sleep here because you can sleep leaning on a bench. That was actually quite usual back in the old days. And back where I come from, my local what's it called? My local place of origin. I know about a cabin which is it is like a communal cabin like this one. It has like it is the size of your living room, basically, and it has 4 bunk beds, and a gas stove, and a fire stove like this one. It's quite small, so you can't fit the biggest logs in it. But it's very functional. So if I was to lead or execute a guerrilla war, I would use a place such as this, because I'm not the greatest survivalist, But, I would shoot at the enemy from a distance and just retreat to these places. Because I know about these places and they don't, until I am betrayed, of course, by the locals, which is probably my destiny. So, to give you an overview of how it looks, this is how it looks. The window is quite nice. Here's the frying pan that I talked about. Here's the axe. I don't know if you see it. Yeah, it's so difficult to see. But it's an axe on the wall. And there's like some clothing on the wall. And so this is the place I came from. So this is the highlands. You have to walk quite a distance so that the locals know about it. You have to struggle a bit, to put it that way. And I will talk about the issue or topic at hand after I have eaten and drunk a bit, because then everything will be standing in greater clarity. Yeah. Alright, I have eaten, and I don't know what I have said. Damn it, it's so much darker than it used to be. So it's like above me there's like these plastic coverings. So the roof is plastic coverings, but you can't see it. You can't see much at all. Yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned it, but this would be a very good place for guerrilla warfare. I know a few of those places, but they are limited in. It's not the best places, but they are the best places for me, if that makes sense, according to my ability. So to the topic at hand, I'm going to talk about one of the greatest taboos in Western society, and also of course, in the pagan milieu. And even pedophilia and necrophilia are not taboos anymore. I'm kind of virtue signaling here, but the taboo I'm talking about is, in fact, loneliness. Because I moved to the far countryside about 5 years ago. Maybe a bit longer, if I'm being honest. And I had a survivalist ideology even back then. And I moved to a place that was really cheap. Like I had 60 square meters for a very, very fair price. Very fair price. You don't find an apartment cheaper almost anywhere in the country. But as I lived here, this started hurting me, especially after the Corona crisis, when the training center in my local place closed down for good, and I don't have an alternative training center within reach, because I live pretty near a big town, but I can't reach that big town without driving through paywalls for cars. What's that called? Whatever. You have to pay to drive there, and it's expensive. So I don't do that unless I have to. Of course, I do that to do whatever, but I don't do that routinely. So yeah, even because sure, I had my ideology, and I wasn't even driven by my ideology because I had my personal reasons to move to the countryside. Because I was running away from something. I was running away from something very horrible, which was being driven away from my home village and having my career and life destructed by the politically correct crowd. Just being honest, that's the truth. And of course, I used my survivalist ideology to justify that. But really, I just needed to get away, and I did get away, but it did not serve me well. Because even at an early stage, this started hurting me. As Jung's talk about, you have these strong psychic forces, your shadowy self, that don't want to approve of what you're doing. You might have whatever rational reasons, whatever. You might tell yourself whatever, but if your shadowy self, your true, which is your true instinct, if that does not approve, then you will have rebellion and destruction. And I had that. I hurt my knee really badly because of this, because of a self-destructive instinct, like really badly. It's not really good any longer. Yeah, and so I hurt myself, and I'm not happy where I am at, because think about it. Nietzsche says that the universe is irreductive. It's irreductive. You can't apply a category to consider the universe or interpret the universe. And as Machiavelli says, each situation is unique and deserves its own unique deliberation. So even if I have my survivalist ideology, which I do, it does not really apply to me. Because my situation is quite unique. And why would I say that? Basically, let me be honest. Let me have a drink. Let me be honest, let me have a drink. I'm pretty old. I don't have children. In fact, I am a man without a future, and I know that. And don't insult me by saying that that's not true, because I have reasons to know that much, much better than you. So, what's the point of me being a survivalist or surviving in a societal collapse? There isn't much point. I need what I need now, which is what I sorely lack, which let's just say that this I'm an extreme introvert. I'm an extreme introvert, but the taboo, the taboo, which I probably try to speak about it. The taboo that I have is that I live in complete social isolation, and this has hurt me immensely. And I have friends, but I don't have friends, if that makes sense. I have friends spread across the entirety of Scandinavia, but they're not here. So I need social stimuli. And since I haven't gotten that through all these years in this place, this is Norway. This is village Norway, the wilderness. The thing is, I can say this: Norwegian Norwegians are a homogeneous population. Norwegians are, for the most part, I hear the wind, makes me scared. They are for the most part the same, and most Norwegians, as it's called, they are a people of nature, not culture. So most Norwegians care about practical things. They do not care about much else, complex dilemmas or whatever. The best-selling book is about, in this country, is about chopping firewood. And I'm an intuitive, so I can't really relate to the village people at all, basically. That's the truth of it. But damn it, I can relate to the city people, because I have a history of that. So basically, through my ideology, I took from myself the things that I needed, because I was thinking too categorically, and this will be a reoccurring theme. I was thinking too platonically, which you're not supposed to do. I was allowing a category to rule my life. At least I allowed a category to justify my choices, which I should not have done. And this, like I mentioned, this started hurting me from an early period, because as some of you might know, I'm an artist and writer, and right now I am so depressed and mentally strained that I'm unable to write, and that's harsh for a writer. That's harsh. And it's because I lack the slightest social stimuli. And that's why I'm going to break with the laws and rules of, you can call it paganism, which says that, you're going to live in the countryside, and it's so fantastic, blah, blah, blah. No. I'm moving to a city with 30,000 people. And I'm doing that for the social stimuli. And I'm not going to be a survivalist. I'm going to live in a small place, basically. Now I'm a survivalist. I'm not going to be. Because I am a man without a future. And I know that. And I have reasons to know that. You don't know that, but I know that. And my testimony is stronger than your categories, okay? So yeah. That's what I'm going to do. It illustrates very clearly this thought that let me move outside. I'm going to shine a light, because it's pretty late. Okay. Shine a light. It's pretty late, but it's still shining in this place, because it's the country of the midnight sun in summertime, at least. Yeah, I know I have limited time, and within that limited time I need to do what I need to do. And those things are about art, nothing else. Like I said, I have no future. I have absolutely no future. Absolutely. So I need to give myself what I need. And I need to look away from the categories, even those categories that I have imposed upon myself, out from a sort of idealism which do not apply to me. But the reasons why I moved here, it wasn't really, I have touched into this, it wasn't about survivalism, really. I needed to get away, and I had good reasons to want to do so, okay? good reasons. So that's the story. Within 3 months, which is the cancelling of the contract for the place I live, I will live somewhere else. A place with 30,000 inhabitants. I will have a training center. I'll have some few things other than that. I will probably have a cultural life, which I have missed sorely. I will have contact with a female relative of mine who is a writer, and she's very sexy. She's sexy because, she's the most interesting woman around, basically. My female relative. There are none other. My point is, this illustrates how it's important to not think. Do not think in categorical terms. Don't think in dogmatic ways, because doing so will hurt you. And I know that not only in this case where I thought, survivalist ideology should apply to me and blah 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 blah, but in other places in my life, this has been true as well. I've thought categorically. I'm going to be personal here. I've always had this notion, family is so important, you should always be loyal to family. No matter what, and you should defend your family, blah blah. Does not apply to me. Why? Do you know my family? No. I do. And that's the difference. That's the difference. My family is plagued by the severest forms of narcissists you can imagine. And it's plagued by the severest forms of stupidity you can imagine. Okay, I just have 3 minutes. Let's say someone has 130 IQ. And they act, or they make choices like they have less than 80 IQ. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, loyal to family? No. Loyal to ideology? No. Loyal to some place? No. Does not apply to me. I have things to do. And the time is now. Yeah. I freely admit it. Just a little time here. I have been suicidal because I haven't had the things I need. And I am suicidal because I don't have the things I need. And I'm going to be suicidal because I will never get the things that I need. So basically, I'm on a suicide quest because I just want to do the things that are according to my Nietzschean will. Only that. And I know full well that there are so many things that I can't have. There are so many things I can't do. But there are some things that I can have and do. But to have those things, I have to do them and choose them. And it has a price. It has a price, folks. And I know that. And I'm willing to pay that price. I know the price and I'm willing to pay it. So, with this light elf out, probably someone will be upset about this, but your survivalist ideology did not work. I imposed this upon myself. Did not work. Not for me. You would have to be, if you are a family father, yes, be a survivalist. But for an artist who is single, okay, I just have 43 seconds. If you're moving to the Norwegian countryside, you need a partner. Okay, you need a partner, and you need a social network. I did not have that. That's why it went down the drain. Yeah. So there you have it. Yeah, so I'm just going to sit and drink a little and go home and upload this. So, Light Elf out.